And the word intimidation came up. Like, it's intimidating. And so my call cut moment was, then just become what intimidates you. Just become it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that, I have like full body chills right now, because that's exactly what happened. I was like, oh, that's an interesting, like I was stuck on that phrase, and that became my phrase of 2023, because I was like, anything that came across my desk that was going to intimidate me or stop me from moving forward, I would just sit there and ask, okay, what's bothering me about this? It's intimidating. Become what intimidates you.
My guest today is Erin Smith, a sports psychologist, executive coach, TEDx speaker, and host of the Driven Women Project podcast. She helps high-performing women unlock their potential, navigate leadership, and excel in male-dominated industries. If you're ready to level up your performance, this conversation is for you. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Call Cut with Angelique. And today I have an incredible guest with me. This is Erin Smith, who is officially Connecticut USA. And she is going to be heading off to the Miss America pageants. But before we get into all of that, I am so excited to have Erin here, because I met Erin through the pageant, and I can't tell you how unbelievable this person is. She is, woman hear me roar, she is an entrepreneur many times over, and she is a heart-led entrepreneur, and she is here to do good in this world, and she is going to tell us all about it. So Erin, welcome to Call Cut with Angelique. I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Angelique. I am so excited to be here as well. After I met you, I have been listening to your podcast, and I love everything that you talk about. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
Oh, thank you, Erin. And, I would love to know, because you do a lot. So I would love to break it down, but maybe tell our audience a little bit about you and how you got to this point.
Yeah. So let me take it all the way back to when I first fell in love with psychology, because that's when it all began. I took a class in high school, and I was the only one that was really paying attention. Everyone else kind of took the class as an easy A. It was one of those extra, you can choose to take it, or you could take economics. But I fell in love with it right away. And it was because I was so fascinated with understanding how people think and why they do the things they do. And since then, I like to call myself a cultural anthropologist, not necessarily a psychologist, because I like to study people. I like to study what they do, why they do it, and understanding human potential and how to push the boundaries of it has always been really fascinating to me. Like, what are we capable of as humans? So I studied it in college. I then went to grad school to study sports psychology. That was the particular type of psychology that I was most fascinated with, because of the pushing of the boundaries, right? Athletes want to learn how to hack their potential. How do we push the boundaries of their potential so that they can perform at their best, and to call upon that performance when they need it. And then I also worked at the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater, which is based in Southern Connecticut. I think you know it. I spent the better part of a decade there, actually applying a lot of what I had learned in grad school about sports psychology. So, a lot of people ask, oh, do you work with athletes? I'm like, yes, that would be the natural next step when you get a degree in sports psychology. But I like to say I work with mental athletes. I work with people who are intellectual athletes, who high performers, and are pushing themselves in high stakes, high performing environments, like working with money and finance, right? And very high stakes. And so after that, I started my business, which is what I always wanted to do. My dad was an entrepreneur. He started his own business after leaving his corporate job. And I watched him grow his business from the ground up. And that inspired both me and my brother growing up, watching that. He didn't work for anyone else. He was his own boss, made his own hours. And that inspired us to start our own businesses. So before working for Bridgewater, I always knew that I was going to one day leave and start my own business. And I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted that to be until around 2017, when I decided to leave and start Driven Beyond Excellence, where I now help women and leaders rise into leadership roles and become what intimidates them. So overcoming fear and pushing the boundaries of human potential and helping women navigate male-dominated industries too, just based on my experience in the world of finance. So here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Almost 10 years
Wow.
later.
So 10 years later, and then suddenly you're on stage in Connecticut,
Yes.
right? So how did that come about? Because so you have an incredible business, right? And
Mhm.
you're helping people and you're doing all of this to bring people to their highest potential, which is what I resonate with a lot. So I love that about you. And it was something that when you came in that day, and just for those of you who don't know, I was one of 3 judges for that particular competition. And Erin walked in super confident. And one of the things that got me was that you shook everybody's hand, which I thought was really a nice move.
Ah.
And yeah, I did think that.
Yeah. They told us not to
Um,
do that, by the way. I was told
well,
not to do that, so I couldn't help it.
sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? I think because of your background and what you have done, you've been in so many rooms in your life, and you kind of understand that human connection starts with connection,
Yeah. It's huge. Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And I know the Musks of the world would like us to go all, catatonic
Right.
and, but the fact is humans are connectors. And when you take somebody's hand or you look somebody in the eye, you are saying, I see you, you see me,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Instead of like coming and sitting down and just so that was a good thing you followed your intuition there. So
Good. Yes.
Erin comes in and she sits down and she tells us the story. So how did you get from all of this to Mrs. Connecticut?
So, yeah, that began, I would say, when I decided to I'm going to use your terminology here, call cut on my fear of public speaking. That is where I think all of this began. Um and actually, I'll go back even further because my grandmother, when I was 14 years old, convinced me to enter into my very first pageant, Miss Connecticut Teen USA, I think it was. It was so long ago, 14. I was 14. But my grandmother, oh my gosh, I love her so much. She's no longer with us, but she lived to 90 years old, and I was very close with her. And she is my dad's mom, and she had 3 boys, but she's a girl's girl. And so she kind of, always wished that she had that experience of having a daughter because she used to make clothes for herself. And, she loved playing dress up with me and made paper dolls, loved all that girly girl stuff. And she was so thrilled when I said yes to participate in the pageant. And so it just was such a great experience spending that time with her because, we got to go shopping and go to makeup trials and, just learning about what it takes to compete in a pageant at that age. So that was my very first experience. But 30 years later, I didn't do any pageants in between then. I decided that was it. That's all I needed. And I wanted to have that experience with my grandmother. But 30 years later, I get a message on Facebook asking me if I'm interested in participating in Mrs. Connecticut. And first of all, I had no idea that there was a Mrs. pageant system.
Right.
And so I was really excited to hear about that. I thought that's so cool because, you think about in this world of ageism, right? We think, a lot of people think, unfortunately, that the older you get, the less valuable you are, or, you don't need to participate in things like this. This is for kids or young women. Why are you doing this, right? So when I saw there was a Mrs. Division honoring married women and older women, I thought, this is great. I'm 44. How awesome is this? I want to break barriers and show people that, age is not correlated to value and we can still do things like this as at any age, right? So when I got that message, I was really excited. And it was almost a full body yes. I sat there for a half second and I was like, do I want to do this? And then 30 seconds later, I'm like, absolutely. This is amazing. This is going to be great. So I said yes. And I, went through all the motions of getting ready and filling out the paperwork and getting to know, what is this world all about? And then I won. I don't know. That's a jump there, but yeah, I did all this work. I prepared myself and took inventory. Actually, it was a really great experience to take inventory on who I am and what I stand for. So that was a really timely exercise because I'm in the process of rebranding my whole business right now and getting on more stages and talking about my work. So it was a really great opportunity to hone in on that message.
Yes, and you are fabulous. You really do know who you are, which is interesting because so many of us think we don't know we are. And conversely, people who are so convinced they do know who they are have no
Right?
idea. So it's I always find the ones that are constantly seeking
Hmm.
actually know more about their journey than the ones who are like, "Oh, I have it all figured out."
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so we always kind of honor those folks that are seeking and okay, maybe this is for me and let me
Hmm.
see. And you took that leap and it 100% paid off for you.
Yes.
Um, Here's the interesting thing, and I would love you to talk about your experience because there's a stigma around pageantry,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yep.
That I found was not true when I went,
Yep.
right? And I I will tell you folks after going to do this and I've been in a lot of and I know Erin probably has as well, rooms where it's pro women.
Hmm.
And this is and it ends up being the least group of pro women you will ever meet in your life, right? You could feel the competition, you could feel the
Yeah.
comparison, you could feel they don't like you, they don't like themselves, but it's, this projection reflection. This was the complete
Hmm.
opposite.
I agree.
I was absolutely floored. I mean, I could almost get choked
Hmm.
up at how these women really supported each other and still do, by the
Yes.
way, on social
Yep.
media. Um, really just kind of like was became each other's champions. And then their stories. What did you experience? And what were you expecting
Uh,
when you walked
yeah,
in?
that's such a great question. I tend to walk into new environments without expectations because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on my own, biases, right? I don't want to walk in with any judgments, preconceived notions, because then I might miss something beautiful like what you're describing. So I acknowledged that there was the stigma of pageantry, but I had no expectations going in. I was just open. I wanted to see. I'm like the cultural anthropologist in me was like, let's just study this. Let's experience it, immersion, right? I'm going to immerse myself in this and see what happens. And I saw the same thing. I saw what I saw. So this is coming from my sports psychology background as a sports psychologist. I saw a lot of similarities with sports. And I'll tell you what I saw, because the camaraderie that you're talking about, the teammateship almost, right? The women were not there competing against one another. It wasn't like, oh, I can't talk to them. I don't want to give away anything, or I don't want to help them because that might be a disadvantage to me. I saw the complete opposite. I saw a team coming together. And there were directors, pageant directors, which kind of resembled the role of a coach almost. They were there telling us, like, okay, here's what you have to do to succeed. They were giving us advice and guidance. And the women, were sitting around listening and helping one another. So we would hear some advice or some guidance from the coach, and then we would get to practice it, and we would get to, give each other feedback like, oh, you did that really well, or like, oh, this is what's great about you. And this is why you're going to do well here, right? So the women I felt like I was on a team, especially when we were, practicing because we're putting on a show, right? We're coming out on stage and there's some choreography, or you have to walk a certain way on the stage from point A to point B. And we were backstage. Some of us, you get nervous before you go out and you're like, wait, what are we supposed to do again? What's the formation? What are we supposed to do? And we would just tell each other, oh, this is how you do it. Like, watch how this works. And that resembled to me the way a team operates before you go out onto the field or before you perform. You're helping each other out, reminding each other what we're here to do, and pumping each other up, because of course, everyone's got a little bit of maybe imposter syndrome or nerves or something. And so some of us were backstage hyping each other up, reminding us who we are, why we're here, and that we're all worthy. That there's no one here who's going to lose, right? No one's going to lose. We're all winners. We've made it this far, and every single person has worth here and value. So I'm getting chills now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Well, you're 100% right on the money because people tend to think that winning is and it's the be all end all.
Hmm.
It's not.
Yeah.
Winning is just winning is part of the journey, but it is not the journey. The journey is actually the experience. And what do you learn from this
Mhm.
experience? And sometimes it's one person's time to go, and then it'll be somebody else's time. It might just not be your
Right.
time, whatever it is in your particular world that you're going for. And timing, it is everything. It's a mystery, but it is everything. And so we have to take into consideration that if it's your
Mhm.
time, it's your time, and all the universe will conspire for that to
Yes.
happen. And that's exactly what happened to you. Um, it was your time. So one of the things that you mentioned when we were at the pageant was your work in charity with
Mhm.
veterans. So I would love for you to talk about that because I think this is really incredible.
Yeah, this is something that is very near and dear to my heart and my husband's. It started as a passion when I met him because he is a retired Navy SEAL. He was in on the SEAL teams for 26 years, and there's a statistic which actually has changed since I met him. When I first met him, the statistic was 22 veterans a day lose their lives to suicide, and his father was one of those 22. It's now 17, so that's a good thing, right? The number's starting to go down. It's 17 veterans a day, but back then, when I met him, he told me the story about how he lost his dad when he had just entered into the Navy himself. So his dad was also in the Navy, and he wouldn't say he was following his dad's footsteps because his dad wasn't a Navy SEAL, but he wanted to be, the next level, kind of what you do with your parents, right? You follow in their footsteps, but then you do better because that's what they want you to do anyway. And right after he passed or graduated from BUDS, which is the training program to qualify you to become a Navy SEAL, was when his dad lost his life. And obviously impacted my husband quite a bit. And then after, being in the SEAL teams for 26 years, he started to discover this is common. It's more common than it should be. And it affects veterans so much more than the regular population because of what they are experiencing when they dedicate so much of their lives and their identities to serving in the military. And then one day it's gone, right? You retire and then it's over. And you're spending so much energy and so much time working on or focusing on being in the military that all of a sudden you have nothing to focus on. My husband will tell you it's like that movie where I think it's a Marvel movie where Thanos snaps his fingers and half the world's population disappears.
Avengers.
Avengers, thank you. Yes. And he'll tell you that that's what it felt like for him. One day he had a mission and a purpose and a team. And then the next day, all of that was gone. He had no more purpose. He had no more team. And he didn't know what he was supposed to do. So he had to build those things. And so if you can imagine, that's one thing that keeps people going in life, right? Purpose, a mission, possibility. Right. And if you lose that, that can send people into a mental health crisis where they then don't feel that they have a purpose and a mission. And so they unfortunately decide that that means they should end their lives. And so that is something that the two of us together, we now work together. And the two of us together are very passionate about creating programs that center around building an identity, constructing an identity, showing people that they have the power to do that, that it's not something that's given to them from an external source, even though it may have felt that way because they started in the military so young. They can construct their own identity and it doesn't have to surround their time in the military. They can do something different. They can find a new purpose and take the skills that they have learned and apply them somewhere else because that's also hard to do, right? You're like, okay, there's no more, I'm not going to war anymore. What am I supposed to do with these combat skills? But there are things that they have learned that they can apply in their lives going forward. So,
Oh, yeah. You can do self-defense,
mm-hmm,
martial arts. You can
mm-hmm.
teach. You know what the saddest part about all of
What's
this
that?
is? It's not like our country
Mm-hmm.
reveres veterans. As a matter of fact, they
Yep.
toss them aside, our
It's sad.
government. So this makes it
Yep.
even worse because it's one thing, right? We all lose
Sure.
purpose. And I want people to understand this before they trivialize what she's saying, what Erin is saying. We all lose purpose, sure. We all lose our way, absolutely. But to lose your way, to lose purpose, and to be cast aside by the very people who held you up and seemed like they were a family and had you, that's a whole other level of, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
abuse that we don't take into consideration, that these men and women are being abused,
Yeah.
used and abused because they were used for a purpose and then cast aside. That's
Yep.
even worse because the mind starts to really play tricks on you and say things like, well, then what am I good for if I'm not good for this? And what was it all for? That existential
Yeah.
question, I ask
Yep.
that all day. I'm like, I just drove here.
Right.
What's it all for?
Same.
I just did that, right?
Same
So
all day long.
all day. You're just like, why am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
So I think this is so important to have this kind of support for people who are going through the depression, to the PTSD, the suicidal thoughts. And it goes far beyond, what we think
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Right? We have no
Mhm.
idea. I talk about this in my book and I share about my situation with suicide and what a situation that happened with me. And I can tell you, to get to that point,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
It's a steep drop.
And yeah, ma'am. And to get to the point where you actually go through with it. So, you hear a lot of stigma around suicide that's also
Mhm.
incorrect. I hear people say it all the time. Oh, it's such a
Yeah.
selfish thing. No, no,
Mm-mm.
no,
No.
it's not. And I think what's great is when there are things to understand this, and you are providing this where people will begin to understand. And it's no accident, Erin, that you have this degree in psychology, because I really do feel like the universe puts us exactly where
Yep.
we're supposed to be. And everything that we've done in our lives leads up to these moments, even if we
Yep.
can't see it.
Very much. I believe that too.
Yeah. And you're out there really doing this. And I feel like, and one of the other things about you is that you are incredibly humble. You have a really, you're out there, you're very, extroverted and fun, but you have this humility about you that actually comes through, which makes you, in my opinion, even more likable.
Thank you.
Right? Because there's
Yeah.
this, yeah. And when you can, and you
Yeah.
could see it, I didn't know
Right.
you at all. I just took
Yeah.
you at face value and, a little bit of a conversation. And friends, we have a little bit of a conversation with them,
4
literally 4
minutes and
minutes.
with
It's
3
like, oh,
people, so it's even less time for you to ask your questions. You have to share the space.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're rapid fire shooting stuff at them. So it's like, it's such a unbelievable,
Yeah.
like,
High intensity.
what do they say?
Yes.
Yeah. Pressure under fire. But I always get the energy from people. And that's the first thing that I like to read is the energy. And I think that whatever it is that you're setting up, and I know a lot of this is just starting, like really to move forward for you. The platform coming in with Connecticut, and I just said Mrs. USA, so maybe that's a Freudian slip. But
That's next.
that's next. You're starting to move toward this path to help
Mhm.
other people. And that's a huge thing. A lot of people, I mean, girl, I can tell you how many people will sit there and say, I just want to help. How?
Exactly. How?
Tell us how. What are you doing? Well, you're gonna what? You came in with, oh, I have this.
I've already been doing it.
Yeah. So what is that like? For you, connect, because my God, you have a lot going on. And you also have a podcast. So
Yes.
you really, yeah, you're doing all of this stuff. And you're really putting yourself out there, which I super appreciate. S- What do you see, like, from your perspective? How does this evolution of Erin come into the world? Like, really come into the world, like
Yes.
fully in your light?
Yes. Okay. So I think, well, let's go back to when I said I decided to call cut on my fear of public speaking. This was, I've been in business for almost 10 years now. And right from the beginning, I knew, everyone told me, part of business development, reaching more people to have more impact and, bringing on clients to make the business run, is public speaking, being visible front and center. And so I know that I'm good at being an extrovert. I think I'm half extrovert, and half introvert, but I lean more towards introvert. And so, I grew up, I was told I was really shy, and I was definitely that kid who was, hiding behind my mom when everyone else was playing on the playground. And she's like, go, go, go. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to hide back here. Too shy. So, when I first started, I thought to myself, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm not going to be a public speaker, and I'm still going to have a thriving business. And so I did, I wouldn't say thrive, but I definitely ran my business. I was definitely making money. I was definitely impacting lives, but I knew deep down that I was not having the impact or the kind of impact that I felt I should, right? I have this message, I've done all of this work, and I have this passion for helping people. I need to reach more people. So in 2023, right before 2023, actually in late 2022, I decided that's it. I'm done being afraid of public speaking and being visible and being judged and worrying about all that stuff, because there's something more important that I need to be focusing on. And that is the impact that I could have and the freedom that I want to have too, because I felt a little bit trapped, to be honest, right? I'm hiding behind this fear and not fulfilling my own potential. So I saw that gap and I was just tired of seeing it. So New Year's rolled around. I decided to take that opportunity, to set my 2023 goals. And the words that came to mind, Angelique, it just appeared to me one day. I was sitting probably in meditation. I was probably meditating because I was asking myself, why am I so afraid of this? Like, what is it about stepping onto the stage and being in front of people that bothers me so much? And the word intimidation came up. Like, it's intimidating. And so my call cut moment was, then just become what intimidates you. Just become it.
Yes. Yes.
And that I have like full body chills right now,
Yes.
because that's exactly what happened. I was like, oh, that's an interesting, like I was stuck on that phrase, and that became my phrase of 2023, because I was like, anything that came across my desk that was going to intimidate me or stop me from moving forward, I would just sit there and ask, okay, what's bothering me about this? It's intimidating. Become what intimidates you. Just become it. Be that thing. Picture yourself in that state of standing up there and owning it. And so that visual paired with that mantra became the winning formula for me to get over the story that I was telling myself that
Yes.
this is, scary, or I'm not good enough, or like I'm not worthy, all those things that fly through your head. And that's what motivated me. So, and that just set a bunch of things in motion that landed me my first speaking gig in the middle July of 2023, which I put on myself, by the way, because I signed up for public speaking class, which is where I met my husband also. So talk about like when you like make a decision, the universe rolls
Wow.
out the red carpet for you. I have experienced this in so many different ways, but when I said yes to that and become what intimidates you, Erin, everything just started falling into place. And I did my first speaking event, which I put on for myself because I didn't want to wait. I was like, no, I need to test this now. I'm not going to wait around for someone to invite me. I'm just going to host my own event. So I did that. And then after that, I went to watch my husband speak at he did a TEDx talk. So I followed him there just to see what it was all about. I got to watch him and a whole bunch of other people deliver their TEDx talks and have them recorded. And so I met his TEDx coach at that event. And the coach said, oh, would you be interested in doing a TEDx talk? And of course, Angelique, I was like, oh God, oh no, like that's real. That's the real deal. I don't know if I should.
That's
But here's what
real.
happened. So he said, I'll look to see what's available, or, because you have to apply to events that are happening, and it depends on the location, depends on how big the event. So he said, I'll look into it for you. So the next day he sent me Yukon Stores, which is where I went to undergrad. I studied at University of Connecticut, was hosting a TEDx conference, and they were accepting applications. And here's where the universe is like, let's challenge you, because the applications were due 2 days later. So I had every excuse in the book to blow it off. I was like, I could have been like, oh, I just learned about this. I don't have enough time. I'll catch the next one. But the fact that it was my alma mater, I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so the voice in my head was like, you don't have time. And the other voice was like, I can do this. I worked at Bridgewater. I know how to work under pressure. I can absolutely pull this together in 2 days. And I did. And I was traveling too. So it was like a big feat. It wasn't like easy. It was very, very challenging for me to sit down and focus and find the time. But I did that. And after that, I got my first really big speaking gig that was paid. I was speaking to a room full of women in Greenwich, Connecticut, actually. And I think there was like 100 women there. And so that was the first time that I really stood up and delivered my keynote, fully.
And what event was that over here?
It was put on by the First Bank of Greenwich. They do this every year. They have what they call a women's empowerment or women's leadership series, where they invite women from the community, either their clients or just women business owners and other leaders in the community to attend. So it was a lot in person, local women. It was an amazing event. Really cool that they do that. And yeah, after that, and then of course I was approached to participate in Mrs. Connecticut. So I was like, oh great, the stages just keep getting bigger and bigger as I go.
You know what I love about your call cut moment is it's one that so many people have. And what she said over and over and over again was, you have to keep doing it. You keep mentioning the voice in your head. That voice in your head that's going to try to hold you back is going to continuously come, but you have to continuously call cut on that voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you did it was so masterful. That's exactly how you execute it. The other part is the sitting with the shadow.
Yeah.
Sitting in your meditative space and really being like, okay, why am I afraid?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because the minute you look at the demon and the demon looks at you and you're like, you ugly MFer, you don't have anything
Can't
over me.
control
Like,
me.
what? You're the one I'm afraid of?
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to let it go, right?
Yes.
It's like shining a light in a dark room and you're like, oh, that shadow is just a bunch of books or a dress hanging on the wall.
Yeah, no big deal.
And look where it got you.
Yes.
What I love about this story is how very quickly the reality shift happens when you consistently choose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently say, okay, no, I can do this. Yes. And the universe is like, yeah, you sure can. Here it is.
The red carpet. Here you go. Yep.
Yes. And now the question is, will you do it? Okay. We know you can. We put you in all these places, but will you do it? And that is the bigger question. And that's the question we all have to ask ourselves, because it's not just a matter of if we can do something. It's our willpower. It's our desire. Because we have the talent, sure. But do we have the guts to call cut on the fear and say, hey, I'm going to go all in on this, even though I'm not sure where it's going to lead me. And look where it led you. I mean, you got the TEDx, you got the Greenwich, you got and you won.
I won.
The Mrs. Connecticut. Yeah.
Amazing.
So it wasn't even just, oh, well, I went to go do this and oh, it was a great experience. It's like, oh, I went to do this and I won.
And I won.
Obviously, this is your path right now. And then that path opens up to other things and other things and other things. I would say, Erin, what strikes me most about you is your courage. Because everyone goes through adversity within and without, right? We have the external adversity and the internal, and arguably, if we're going to go into physics and all the rest of it, the external is a result of the internal.
Oh, yes.
Right? And so to have the courage to face yourself every single day, and something you said in our pre-interview, which stuck with me, was that you always wanted to challenge yourself. And that's it, friends, is to challenge yourself. There is no competition outside of you. There's no one out in this world. It is always you. You are always challenging you to be better than you. Because you can't be anybody else. You can only be unapologetically you. And that is what you do. And you've done it to such a high level, which is why I'm so happy that you're here telling your story, because it is evidence that it works. when you really get behind you and you understand, and I say this in my book, everything you're searching for is already within you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just reaching down and being like, okay,
Yeah.
I am this. And I love your tagline, I'm going to become what intimidates me.
Yep.
Because once you master that, there's no going back.
Yep. It's true.
The mind won't go back. It will absolutely create neural pathways around that. And now you are 100% that.
You can't unsee it. You can't unlearn it, right? Once you realize, especially like you said, you now have evidence. Each time you are courageous and take that step, the evidence, you can't undo the evidence. You can't, I mean, your subconscious will try, right? It will try to tell you,
Yes.
oh, that wasn't real. You just got lucky, like all the negative things that could pop up, right? But once you can tell the difference between that voice, like you said, it's just a demon. It's not real. It's just trying to, or I like to say it's my subconscious trying to keep me safe. It's actually, I like to picture my subconscious as a scared little girl, a smaller version of me, like a childlike version of me, saying, don't do it. We're scared. That's terrifying. Like, what if they don't like us? What if we fail? Like, those are all the messages that your subconscious is trying to tell you. I like to turn to my subconscious as, the adult version of me, the one who is in control, and say, it's going to be all right. We can do this. We have what it takes, and we've done it before. So we're going to do it again. So,
amen, sister. We're all battling our inner child, but the fact is, we need them.
Yes.
The way they need us.
Yeah.
And the day you figure out, and you did, that the only person who's going to save you is you.
Yes.
You can take your inner child's hand and let them understand that you don't need to look outside for safety because I'm going to keep you safe.
Yes.
All the decisions I make are going to keep us safe. No matter how many times in your life, friends, that you have, for lack of a better word, fucked it up, you and I am the queen of this, okay? My husband says I'm a terrible judge of character. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You think you judge mine pretty well.
But thank you. But I, in the past, oh girl, because I like to see the good in everyone, and I sometimes overlook the red flags. And my husband's like, they're like this, hitting you with it, and you're like, it's a fly swatting my head.
Like, well, it could be green in the right lighting, right? I'll make
in the right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right. And then all of a sudden, one day you're sitting there and you're like, oh, wow, I totally misjudged.
Yeah, you're getting hit over the head with the red flag. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's part of again, you said it, the little person within that is trying, and I really believe this, and perhaps this is a little, people will come at me with this one, but just at me, I'll tell you why I think this. We're all looking for love. And those little people inside, they're just looking for the validation that they're worthy of love. And love is not just this romantic no, love is this all-encompassing thing. It's acceptance. And I wrote about this on LinkedIn about it being the programming. It's like the upgrade, and it's the soul program where we just need to get it online and keep it online. And it takes care of everything else. It really does. Yes. But some of us, we uninstall it. Right. We believe like, oh, this fucking thing got us in so much trouble. I'm not going to do this ever again. Right. And so we don't follow through. We don't follow through with the things that we love. And our heart is what leads us. Everything that you have described in your journey from the top, where you went into to school and your choice of psychology, and then even moving into the finance world, and then, meeting your husband. I mean, it's crazy. I met my husband on stage, but it was the theater, and we were both in film.
Oh, wow.
Right? You want to talk about, I was dating somebody else at the time. I was supposed to go out to the Hamptons and be with him. He canceled, and I was sitting there and I was like, all right. That night, the director of a play I was in asked me to go see the one that my husband put on, and that's how I met him. Yeah. Right? If I would have gone to the Hampton, I wouldn't have met him.
I love that so much. Yeah. That just reinforces that belief that it's meant to be, right? It's all orchestrated, or it's all Yeah, it's all for a purpose, all for a
Yeah,
reason.
it's all
Hmm.
for a purpose. And we may not know it. And also, I do feel like we give up on people too quickly.
Hmm.
Um, if things don't happen according to our expectations, and I really like what you said earlier too, that you walk into a room without having your biases because you don't want to judge something incorrectly, which is a really brilliant way to walk into a room,
Hmm. Hmm.
is to shed all of your expectations
Yep.
and then allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I love that. That's the
Yeah.
best.
And I tell my friends, like, okay, I did what you said and it didn't work out. I said, listen, we all are either pleasantly surprised or horribly disappointed,
Right.
but either way, we experience it
Yeah,
and
you're
we
learning
know,
something.
like, yeah, oh, this is my vibe and maybe this isn't,
Right.
but I did all of it and now I know.
Right. Now I know.
I'm not sitting on the sidelines being like, well, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if?
Right. Right.
And that's why I'm so happy that you came on here, because I love stories of empowerment. Obviously, whether it's a male or a female, it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that we're all moving through this crazy thing called life together,
Yep.
and we're all trying to figure it out,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And there are people like you who come along and you're like, do, smack. Okay, got that. Do, smack.
Yep.
Oh, I've got to get back in it. That's how you do it. And I
Yes.
call it stupidly optimistic,
I
but
love it.
it really, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even my husband's like, oh God, what do you do it to yourself? Because we know when you're following your heart never leads you wrong. It just doesn't. And I really, even for me, I told you, like, I was so excited when they asked me to judge. I thought that was great. I've never done that
Yeah.
before. And it was such a cool experience. And I absolutely love all the women that I met. I think all of you are stars in my book, however far you take your star, follow it as high as it's going to
Hmm.
go. I do think the sky's the limit for you, Erin.
Thank you.
I really have that
Wow.
feeling that there's so much
Yeah.
more that's coming for you. I think we're just witnessing the blip, like the very, very
Yes.
start
Yes.
of it.
I'm thank you for saying
Yeah.
that, because I feel that way too. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I put myself into challenging situations, because I want to see what I'm made of. What am I capable of? What more can I be? How can I be more of myself? Where does my potential end? Right? Because I honestly don't believe that our potential ends anywhere. I think that, we're limited by our belief system, by what others believe, and, what people think we can and cannot do. But yeah, I 100% feel the vastness in front of me, like how much further I can go.
I do. You're going to step into it. I mean, I know that you're going to step into it, and it's just going to be like a lotus flower. It's going to keep kind of opening and opening and opening. And what you said is absolutely true, friends. Limitless potential. If you put your mind into limitless potential, all the universe will conspire for you to get what you want. By the way, and this is the caveat, on your heart's trajectory, because sometimes the thing we think we want is not the thing that's the best for us. And it's not the best place for us to go or the best use of our talents, even if we think it is. And sometimes we're also being protected too. And, this is for another time when I see you in person, I will tell you this. But when you realize that, holy shit, I've been protected,
Yeah.
because if I would have done this or would have done that,
Yep.
I may have been in a place that really isn't good for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yep.
see it in the moment. In the
No.
moment, we're colored by the bright and shiny objects.
Right.
Right. And I think the one thing age gives us is the grace to look at things very differently,
Mm-hmm.
because we're no longer chasing that thing. We're like, oh, wait, no, this thing ain't shiny. We know this is fool's gold.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, we're
It's a
good now. We
distraction
know.
or a trick, or maybe a lesson I needed to learn, but not the destination or not the direction that I should be going, but a lesson along the
A
way.
lesson. Yes. And if we can just get to that point where not everything is so binary, right?
Yep.
Nothing is black and white, friends. Everything's gray. The brain is gray matter that goes in a labyrinth. It's
Yes.
gray, gray, gray. And we don't see things in black and white. We see everything in color. So there's so many options and whatnot. But I hope you guys were able to get something amazing from Erin, because this is how it works. This is how the call cut method works. This is how stepping into your light works. This is how heart-led entrepreneurship works. She's really the embodiment of that. And everything that you do is sincerely to help other people, not to elevate just yourself, but to elevate yourself high enough in your consciousness so that you can then help other people to rise.
Absolutely.
That's the true definition.
Mm-hmm.
So how can all of these people get in contact with you?
They can find me either on LinkedIn or because I'm revamping my website right now, but it will be www.drivenbeyondexcellence.com. And my email address also, Erin@drivenbeyondexcellence.com. And it's driven beyond excellence. A lot of people mistake it for driven by excellence, but it's driven beyond excellence.
Beyond. We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah. So, and also her podcast.
Oh, yes.
Because
oh, my gosh.
Talk about your podcast for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, my podcast. So that's called the Driven Women Project podcast. And you can find that. I post about that on Instagram, the Driven Women Project, at the Driven Women Project. And that was born of out of a passion to help women rise into leadership roles in male-dominated spaces and male-dominated careers. So, I do work with men and women alike, but I am particularly passionate about helping women, navigate the ups and downs and the unique environment of being a woman in a male-dominated space, especially like finance. So that podcast is where I highlight women who have done it, people who have been successful in male-dominated spaces, because there's so few role models, right? Just by virtue of there's not that many women in male-dominated spaces. So I wanted to find the women who have done it and been successful without losing their authentic voice, without sacrificing their femininity in favor of masculinity. Because let's face it, if you're in an environment where you're surrounded all the time by masculine energy, you kind of almost want to adapt and take it on yourself, right? Like I like to say you don't have to act like a man to succeed like one. And that's what these women prove, that they did it on their terms. They did it using their feminine power. They led with feminine energy and understand the balance between masculine energy and feminine energy. They bring both, but they don't hide it. They don't, apologize for it. They don't try to, mask over their feminine energy or their feminine style of leadership. They do it, like you said before, unapologetically. This is me. This is how I lead. You, sir, may do it differently. I'm going to do it this way and just watch how it works, right? No apologies.
No apologies. You have to be you. And and the law of gender states that there's always male and female.
Right.
And we have to balance it. And you said it. It's not that one should overshadow the other. They're both beneficial and they bring very specific traits to the table.
Definitely.
And when they're properly balanced, there's the sky's the limit. There's no stopping the levels of creation that can happen when the divine feminine, the divine masculine actually meet.
Yes.
So our goal as humans, as we start to rise, those of us that are rising, is to balance that. So again, if you're interested, Erin's podcast is everywhere, but you guys aren't on YouTube, right? You guys
Not
are
yet.
Apple,
Not yet.
Right? You're moving in that way. Take a listen. She's got a lot of really cool guests. She's really interesting herself. And so I think our audience will probably be flooding your inboxes.
I hope so. That'd be amazing.
You are the vibe. Erin, we are so excited for you. I am so excited for you to go to Nevada and to compete, right, in the Mrs. America. So we're definitely going to follow your journey and maybe have you back and see what happened with that, and where you've gone and where you're headed.
Yeah.
And any support that we can give you for your upcoming project and charity, please let us know, because that is right in our wheelhouse. But I am so happy that we had you here. Thank you for sharing your heart and your spirit with us and everything that's going on in your life. And we are 100% rooting for you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Angelique. Yes, this has been amazing. This whole journey has been amazing. And I look forward to connecting with you afterwards, after Mrs. America, because I'm sure I'll have reflections as well on that experience. So yes, thank you again for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for joining me on Call Cut with Angelique. New episodes drop every Friday. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, share with your friends. And remember, folks, no matter what life gives you, you must always keep shining.